well, the room where you get invited. So hopefully everybody's getting in okay. I think everybody is. I see 3 pages worth of people on board. But real quick, let me take a roll call. Um, and then we'll have notification of the meeting. We set that notification meeting um, almost 2 weeks ago when we were on back when we decided to have the first meeting, virtual last one. Um, so that was set. Everybody knew that that was going to be occurring. Um, one thing I don't have, and I'll announce it right off the bat, we do have Mickey, who is going to be taking the secretary in the meeting notes tonight for us. Amanda has some other engagements. And then Kelsey's not with us either. So thank you, Mickey, for stepping up. And Mickey, you on there? I'm just going to take a roll call and make sure everybody's here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. Let me mark you down. Derek Patterson. Okay. Stephen Foster. Amanda Rich. Clay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Adam.
Yeah, here.
William.
I'm here.
Nathan.
Here.
Thank you. Parker.
Yeah.
Thank you. JC Christensen.
Here.
Thank you. Richard.
Yes.
Gavin.
Yeah.
And Jesse. I know Jesse's going to be on later, but he might have someone step in for him. He said he would possibly very much have that. Kelsey's not with us. If anybody notices Derek gets on or Stephen gets on or Amanda, we'll go from there. And of course, Jesse toward the end of it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is more than enough to have a quorum for this meeting. With that, roll call has been taken and we are in session of a meeting. Our agenda tonight is full. And there's a lot of things we want to get done. One of the first things we going to do is I want to make sure that everybody that's on board who wants to be interviewed for a parliamentarian position, can I take that roster too and ensure they're on board? Charles?
Yeah, I'm here.
James?
President accounted for.
Matt?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And William Coakley. I got notice from William that that he has dropped out of that running for this position. He thought we had really good candidates. So with that, let's go forward. Let's plan on a parliamentarian position. William, last night, I think what I'd like to do more than anything is bring up the parliamentarian, what was voted on for ratification back into the bylaws for a new position of parliamentarian. Do you have those up on your end? If so, could you share your screen and hello?
Just a second.
Someone's bleeding through. Stephen, you with us now?
Shelly's on.
Stephen, would you mind muting your mic, please? Thank you. Okay, Stephen's on now too. William, when you are ready, go ahead and share that with us. And we have started the meeting relative to recording it also, let everybody know that.
So much. All right. Can everybody see this?
Can you blow it up at all?
Yep. There we go. Put this out of the way. All right. So this is the actual proposal that was voted on. And the text that's in red is what was added to our existing bylaws, and what's stricken out is what is stricken out. So everything you see in red there is the actual language that's going into the bylaws.
It says parliamentarian, non-voting member elected annually by this board. When that parliamentarian is not present in the quorum in a meeting, the state chairman will assume those positions, those duties for the meeting. The parliamentarian shall serve as a expert advisor on parliamentarian procedures and organizational governance. Responsibilities include ensuring compliance with the USA Wrestling Kansas bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order, assisting the state chairman.
Well, in order to facilitate the meeting, we can all read this and we all know what was proposed and what was agreed upon. So can we move on?
Can everybody read it? I can barely read it. And I was almost done. In maintaining order during the meetings and interpretation of procedures, rules, and resolve of disputes, parliamentarians shall be responsible for guiding the board members in procedural matters, ensuing consistency in decision-making processes, and maintaining the integrity of the board meeting. Additionally, parliamentarian will interpret the Constitution and the associated rules and render a decision whenever there is a question regarding the contents of the document. Any interpretation can be overturned by a 2/3 voting membership of this corporate board. That said, I'd like to go into doing the interviews. Charles, are you ready to start? We're going to give you 3 to 5 minutes, however you like to take up to that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll start.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Real quick here. Good evening, USA WKS board, fellow coaches, athletes, supporters. Obviously, my name is Charles Hill. I'm coming to you today as a candidate for the proposed new parliamentarian position. I was approached after the state board meeting about coming around on this. I have been a bit of a Robert's Rules guy over the past couple of years, and really honestly started to get myself more familiar with it as I was a board member and trying to figure out how this whole thing worked. The purpose of the role is simple. It's vital. It's to ensure our meetings, elections, and discussions are conducted in fairness with consistency and respect. As our organization continues to grow, the need for our structure and order of procedural integrity becomes even more important. As a parliamentarian, it helps to protect the rights of every member, ensuring the decisions are made transparently, efficiently, and always in line with Robert's Rules of Orders and the USA WKS bylaws. My current qualifications for this come from both experience and commitment. As a U.S. Air Force veteran, I learned the importance of discipline, procedure, and integrity while serving on multiple committees and structured decision-making bodies. Those experiences taught me the value of order and the importance of the process in achieving fairness and effective outcomes. For over a decade, I've been an educator, a coach, and a program leader, balancing fairness, structure, and mentorship in every day. In my role as a head coach of both a high school club and a freestyle Greco club, I've seen firsthand how strong leadership and clear communication impact athletes and families. I'm bringing a better understanding of Robert's Rules of Order than I think we've had before, as I've been diving in over the last year or so to ensure I understood what that was required. So I've applied in administrative board setups to help organizations and maintain focus and decorum, even under difficult decision-making processes. Last year, we had some very difficult decisions we had to make, and instead of using emotions, I used Robert's Rule of Order to ensure that we had fairness, specifically in exonerating James Bilby last year from the decisions that have made by the previous board. And then again, later at the Freestyle State Greco tournament, when we had to bring to order a meeting that had kind of gone off the rails there a bit, to ensure that the Freestyle Greco directors of each district were included in the Fargo staff. As parliamentarian, my responsibilities would be to serve in an advisory and neutral capacity, never debating or voting for anything, but ensuring that every voice is heard and that all decisions would comply with our bylaws. My goal would be to make our meetings smoother, our debates more focused, and our elections more transparent. I believe that educating others, and I would be eager to conduct training sessions to help our board and committee members feel more confident with parliamentary procedures. Ultimately, my mission is to strengthen the integrity and professionalism of USA Wrestling Kansas. As both a father of a competitor and a club leader, I believe that we can continue to serve Kansas wrestling through fairness and order. And this is why I am putting in for that. And thank you for considering me for my role for the parliamentarian.
Thank you, Charles, for that. Is there any questions for him before we go to the next candidate? Seeing none. James Bilby, I'd like to have you go next. Are you prepared and ready?
I am mobile.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, folks, time is perishable and time is valuable, so I will keep it short. One, I'm excited about this opportunity, as we have found in recent times that the value of what this position can offer the board is critical. We know that Robert's Rules of Order governs the interpretation of the bylaws, which is essentially the constitution of our organization. If afforded this opportunity, I plan to be a active and visible leader within the organization like I always have, and attend meetings regularly, and hope to offer advice when called upon. Much like it Charles said, I'm a retired Air Force veteran. I'm served currently as a professional consultant to the Department of Defense and a litany of national intelligence agencies. I've been a member of Kansas USA Wrestling for the last 13 years. I served on your executive board for probably about 8 of those years as the treasurer, and then moving into be the Freestyle Greco director. I think each of us can interpret the bylaws as we see them. It's not an easy position, but it can also add clarity in decisions that are in the best interest of our members and our coaches. Other than that, that is all I've got for you folks. Pending any questions.
Questions, anybody? For James? Seeing none. Thank you, James. I'll move on. Matt, are you ready and prepared? If so,
I am.
All right, sir.
Well, I appreciate you all taking time to do this. The reason I want to do this, or I'm willing to do it, is because I just want to continue to give back to the work that's done incredible now. My wrestling background, college.
Hey, Matt, we are having trouble. I don't know if I'm the only one, but having trouble hearing you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. And so I've served as a coach, kids club coach, as well as a high school coach for over 30 years now. As far as familiarity with the bylaws, when we combined the two boards, which was probably about 10, maybe 15 years ago now, Mike Juby and I worked to take two sets of bylaws and to kind of compress them into one. So I have a lot of familiarity with them. I read through them last night. I recognize a lot of it. There's been some changes over the last 7 years since I got off the board. I'm a practicing attorney. I've done that for 30 years. I've also served as a city commissioner as well as a school board member for 16 years. And so we use, obviously, Robert's rules. So I have that familiarity as well. And really my goal here is just to continue to serve the organization and to serve the board as a whole as best I can. So that would be my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Matt?
I have one. Matt, I know, you are probably, a very good person for this role, being that you're one that wrote most of it and that type of thing. I only have one reservation, which would be just, are you going to have the time? I know with, doing everything, in your professional life and whatnot, I just want to make sure that you're going to have the time to be able to be at some of the meetings. I know we've talked to a couple people in the past that have been on the board and have had issues being at meetings. Not saying that you ever did, but I just want to make sure that we have, access to you, during the meetings, or at a minimum, being able to make a phone call if we need an interpretation.
No, I don't think there'll be any problem. I mean, in the 12 years I was on the board, I made all the meetings. I'm like all of you. I've got a full-time job and I coach, but this would be important if I was asked to do it. So no, I would make that commitment.
Okay. Yeah. And I appreciate that. Like I say, I just, I don't know if you and I've ever met before or anything like that. And I know somebody had told me you were like a federal attorney or a district attorney. And I just kind of went, it seems like, they're going to be really busy. So, as long as can make, the meetings, then there's no question for me. So.
Yeah, I have the same job that I've had that same job for the last 25 years. So, yeah, I mean, I'm busy just like you guys are.
Any other questions of any of the candidates?
Don't necessarily have a question, but I do have sort of a statement to make, which I told you that I would do. Since I'm the one who wrote this proposal, I'm not the only one who recognized this, but I knew that there was a need for our organization to have this particular position because we have such a large board and because, we do have turnover on this board fairly regularly. And, not everybody that's on this board or comes into the board is entirely familiar with Roberts. And there's various degrees to which people understand them as well. So the one thing that I wanted to make really clear about this position to anybody who was applying for it is that this person serves as an advisor. They don't make policy. They don't argue and disagree with the members on the board or anything else like that. It's sort of like when a city municipality has one of their meetings and they have their city attorney there. The city attorney doesn't speak unless somebody asks the question of them. Or ask for an interpretation of them. And so I was a little concerned when I wrote this proposal that there may be some people that would try to apply for it who thought that they could use that to dictate what we do as a board, and that's not what this position is supposed to be about, which is why that clause about the 2/3 override is in there. So that's really what I wanted to say, and that's more so for the people who are not currently on the board who may be listening on the phone call as to the reason why this came about.
Any other comments or questions before we go into a vote? Or make a motion? Well, actually, I'll go forward with how we'll do this vote, but any other questions?
Hey, Kurt,
just-
this is Charles, real quick. William, hey, I wanna kind of talk on that for just 2 seconds. I've been with you the last 2 years, and we've seen how the state body meetings have run the last 2 years, and in several of these state board meetings. In this position, I want to make sure that we can sort of smooth a lot of that out. There has always been confusion about how things are run or who did what and what happened when. With having a parliamentarian, whether it's myself, Bilby, or Matt Treaster, I think we're all really good candidates. But to smooth things out and to just get a good running order, it's not putting in our 2 cents, but it's just making sure everything's running in a smooth order, or smoother than it has been in the last couple of years.
Well said.
Thank you. Richard, you have your hand up.
I just wanted to thank all 3 candidates for applying for this position. I know all 3 of them personally and know them all to be exceptionally well qualified, and I just wanted to thank them.
Thank you, Richard. Any other comments?
Do we have any need to go into executive session to discuss and then come back out to vote?
I don't have a need.
Okay.
I mean, does anybody?
Don't we vote in executive session?
No, you
We
don't. vote
cannot.
in
Okay.
executive.
No.
It's not required.
And I'd sooner just it all be out there in front of everybody. We got other people on the line, and I don't know that we've got anything secret going on. It's on their agenda, and so I'm willing to go forward for the vote. If there isn't any other considerations or things that we need to talk about before we start that vote.
Just one last thing that I meant to add, which is that I know all 3 of these individuals very well. And I really don't like being put in this position to have to make a choice between the 3 of them, because I think they're all 3 well qualified to do this. So,
Agreed.
Okay. Thank you. That said, let's go into a vote. This vote will be done, all 3 candidates will be up for a vote as we go through the register of people on the board that are here. I do show that Derek has showed up. Derek, is that true?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did Amanda show up, even though she's non-voting? But and how about Jesse? Anybody speaking for him yet? Okay. That said, we will go into a vote. Everybody will be up for this vote. Charles Hill, James Bilby, Matt Treaster will all be on there. And as I go down the roll call, you'll say who you're voting for. And if it comes to that 2 of them are at a tie and the other one has a few votes, we will drop the one who has the minimal votes, and then we will go only with those 2 to see who wins that. If there is still if it is still tied, then I will make that deciding vote. Okay. That said, I am ready to go down the list. Derek Patterson.
Yeah, just real quick, I want to thank all 3 of you guys for throwing your name in the hat. Have a lot of respect for each of you, so thank you. My vote is going to be for Matt Treaster.
Stephen Foster.
Oh my goodness. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
So this is probably the most difficult thing I've had since I became Number one, I love Matt Treester. I've known him for a whole 25 years. He's my dad with USA Wrestling. I love him. I love James Bilby. Love Charles. This is probably the hardest vote, but I think I don't want to make anybody mad at me, but I'm going to have to go with him. Only because of his background as being a lawyer and his knowledge of our process.
And who was it? You're breaking up. Who was it that you voted for?
Matt, I believe. He's the only lawyer.
We can't hear you, Steve. But I think you said Matt.
Matt.
I did.
Thank you.
But
Mickey,
I want to clarify. I love both of the other guys. I love James and I love Charles.
yes, sir. Mickey,
I'm going to go with Bilby.
Amanda isn't on. Clay,
I'm going with Matt.
Adam,
I'm gonna go with Matt as well.
William,
I will echo what Steve said. I really do like being in the presence of James and Charles. I had a lot of fun working with them last year, but I'm going to go with Matt mostly because he is a lawyer and he has the most experience with our bylaws.
thank you. Nathan,
Matt Treester.
thank you. Parker,
Matt Treester.
thank you. JC,
Matt Treester.
Richard,
Let me get on mic. Matt Treester.
Gavin,
Matt Treester.
and no one's here to speak for Jesse, right? Okay. There is 11 votes cast. Matt Treester had 10 of those votes. Matt Treester, you are a new parliamentarian, USA W Kansas Board. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. That said, then we had a very important meeting last weekend. A week ago, and we left off that meeting. We had some things to go away and get done. And I just saw someone commented Matt was the real man for the job, and I'd agree. I appreciate everybody's input. But last week we were very, very busy going through how do we conduct and get ready for, get ready for an appeal process that's coming up. And so with that, I told this board that I had reviewed those bylaws that I had got with Mike Juby on several of them. Mike just happened to be on a cruise when I originally contacted him, so I had to wait for him to get back, but he did. And then I also told this board that I wanted to meet with a gentleman named Frank Ogile here in Wichita, who has helped us out on several other things. And I told you his background. I did meet with him at 2:30 on Monday, as I said. No one else came, but we did go over the bylaws. We went over the entire appeal process, and he was very, very helpful. The man is, I remember when I got introduced to an attorney by one of the board members for another issue. I went and saw that attorney. His name was Rocky, but there became questions that he even had on different things that were coming up that we want to talk about. And we went down and saw Frank Ogile. He was the man who had a lot of the answers. And I am so thankful also now that we have Matt Treaster on board, serving as parliamentarian, because I'm sure he'd be very helpful in these same exact things that I went and questioned Frank on. That said, there were several things that were open and ready to be talked about that day. I'm going to share my screen now. So bear with me while I get that set up here. Share the entire screen. I have blown this up. Everybody, I have blown this up. Can everybody see that? These are the things that we went over Monday. Regularly scheduled meeting of the board are held in January, March, July, and September. Remember the question we had relative to what was a regularly scheduled meeting? And I asked that, bear with me for time matters. I'll go through this, and then at the end here, we'll take questions, go over anything that needs to be covered, okay? So please hold your questions real quick. A special meeting can also be called for this matter of having a bill appeals board versus having it at a regular scheduled meeting. Whatever is chosen, the meeting will be adjourned prior to going into that hearing. So what brings us together is a special meeting or a regularly scheduled meeting of this board. We would adjourn and we'd go into that hearing. The hearing can be virtual. He recommends that we take a vote tonight whether the hearing will be in person or virtual. Also, if virtual, take a separate vote of the board whether it will be recorded or not. I've highlighted both these because when we get back down to the bottom, these are actions that we need to decide. C, a virtual meeting requires a minimum of 7 days notice. Keep that in mind as we go forward. If we decided tonight, we'd have to give 7 days if that's going to be a virtual meeting, okay? And 7 days is the minimum. All board members that make up the quorum for the appeal hearing have a vote in rendering the judgment and disposition. Sanctions that are already in place can change. Board members that are non-voting members for a meeting are voting members for a hearing. No one can participate in the hearing other than the presiding officer, the committee advocate, and the appellant. The appellant advisor cannot address the board. Witnesses shall be sequestered. They be isolated until called by either the appellant or the committee advocate. Once witnesses are called and excused, they will not be put back into the holding area with those that have not been called. For confidentiality of the appeal, at the start of the hearing, each board member, committee advocate, appellant, and the appellant advisor shall declare that they are alone and will not allow non-board members or others to observe, listen to the hearing from another location. It is reasonable to trust all present to live up to their word. It shall be understood that all present for the hearing will treat each other with respect and proper conduct. Misconduct will not be tolerated. Witnesses. Witnesses for each party shall be known in advance of the special meeting, the hearing. Set a date. I didn't highlight that, but we need to come back to that. Set a date for those lists to be submitted to each party so they can prepare. When can that committee advocate and the appellant have their list for each other? See your responses to the board. I think in all fairness, in preparing both sides, we need to know who we're going to be calling. I mean, it's only fair. Each witness called by either the committee advocate or the appellant can be cross-examined by the opposite party. The appellant can only address witnesses or the presiding officer. The appellant advisor is only there to advise the appellant and cannot address the appeals board. Both can have discussions among each other. In other words, the appellant and his advisor among each other. This is the difference of an informal hearing versus a formal hearing where the appellant is represented. If you notice in our bylaws, it says it's informal. The committee advocate cannot be jaded. They shall be fair and impartial and represent the committee's decision. Any doubt, take a vote by the board on who will represent the committee advocate, either the Safe Sport coordinator or the freestyle director. The focus of the board now should be on the hearing, and how it shall be carried out is defined on pages 16 through 18 of the bylaws. Review each page in the meeting on Wednesday. Make sure that the special meeting for the hearing is scheduled. The responsibility of the appeals board to deliberate as to whether the appellant did or did not do the acts he or she is accused of doing. The appeals board shall vote by majority of those present and will use preponderance of evidence standard of proof, more likely than not, to determine whether or not the appellant committed the acts he or she is accused of committing. Subtier to this, the hearing is not criminal hearing. Hence, it is not expected that the appeals board decides the outcome based on so high of a standard. As an example, in OJ's criminal case, the outcome was based on that it had to be proven without a reasonable doubt, a high standard. Contrast that with the civil case that followed. It was a lower standard. Yeah, probably did it. Or as what is said is above, more likely than not. That's the difference. The presiding officer will ensure that once the final statement is made by the committee advocate, all others than the appeal board will be excused from the hearing so a judgment can be decided by a majority whether the appellant did or did not do any of the sanctionable acts he or she is accused of doing. Notice of the decision of the appeals board will be delivered promptly in writing via email or postal mail. From that, in preparing for this hearing, decide the date of the appeals hearing via the special meeting and answer the questions above. Let me go to those questions real quick. And then there's some follow-on things that need to be done here. There was a place that I said I needed to back up to.
Are we still here? It's deathly quiet.
I'm still here.
I'm
I hear you.
I'm here.
We lost Kurt.
He's still on here.
Are you guys hearing me?
Now we can hear you. You were muted.
Oh, shoot. I went through that whole entire thing. And
No, we
one
heard
heard-
all that. And then you said you were looking for something. And then you got
Okay, I'm
muted.
sorry.
So you can
Yeah,
go
okay.
forward.
Yeah, number 6 is where I didn't highlight. So we'll go back to that. And what I said is we'll go with 8. We'll start at the bottom. The committee advocate cannot be jaded. They shall be fair and impartial and represent the committee decision. Any doubt, take a vote by the board on who will represent the committee advocate. Either the Safe Sport director, coordinator, or the freestyle director. And what I said that no one heard was from the very moment that Parker was elected into this role as Safe Sport director, coordinator, he has had to step up right from the very beginning. And he has taken this on professionally and wore some big shoes in getting there and being a leader for us. So I want that to be known. And I really appreciated what he did in carrying out those duties that he had to take on right from the beginning. That said, open this for discussion. I will.
Seems pretty clear cut to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm at a loss of what we're like discussing. What are you
Well,
wanting to know?
Is there any doubt that the Safe Sport coordinator can carry this out, or do we want the freestyle director to carry this out?
Did carry out the hearing?
Carry out being the committee advocate. They represent the committee during this hearing. They're the ones that are going to be calling the witnesses on behalf of the original allegations and judgments that have been rendered out from the lower processes that have come to this appeal.
This is Richard. I would be comfortable with either Parker or Clay providing the guidance for that hearing.
Is there anybody against or any reason why that Parker should not continue in his role as the Safe Sport coordinator and take on the committee advocate? He's taken it this far so far. Anybody opposed to that? I would like to hear from you now. Hearing no one, Parker, you will be the committee advocate for this hearing. Are you
Sounds
willing
good.
to accept that?
Yep, all good.
All right, thank you, sir. Going to the next one. Number 6. We need to set a date for the list to be submitted to each party so they can prepare. I don't know what's on the committee advocates list, and I'm not sure what's on the appellants list. So we need to set a date that's fair, but that date's got to be for whatever date we come up with that this hearing is. So keep this in mind. I don't think we set this right now. We'll come back to it, but let's go up above where the other ones are highlighted. We can have a regularly scheduled meeting, which will occur in January, or we can have a special meeting that can be called. And that meeting, if it's special, either way, even if it's in January, can be virtual. That said, the hearing can be virtual. Take a vote of the board whether the hearing will be in person or virtual. That said, I would like to hear from everybody. And I don't know that that really has to be a motion. We have 2 selections here. Take a vote of the board whether the hearing will be in person or virtual. Yes.
This, and other said person supposed to do this in case somebody isn't.
Who was that speaking?
Stop taking this person and speaking with somebody that's been taking someone else. No.
Who is that speaking?
Mike, you can't hear him. His mic's cutting out.
Mike was?
It's Steven. His mic is cutting out.
Oh, Stephen. Okay. Stephen, we couldn't hear you. You were cutting out.
That was not me. I'm not
Okay.
sure who, I'm not sure he was in this.
Okay. That said, we will have we will either have a vote for, as I go down the list, to have this as, let me go back to the hearing. Take a vote whether the hearing will be in person or whether it'll be
Leave position.
Can I ask
Virtual.
one question before, can I ask one question before we vote?
yes, sir.
Is the intent that the entire body is privy to this thing, or is it limited to just the people involved with the?
It is only the people that, it's only the people that are involved on the board. There isn't anybody else that can be included in it.
Plus this defeats.
You're breaking up.
Plus the witnesses.
No, the witnesses are out off site. I mean, they're out in the,
Right.
only
But
when they're
there-
brought
if
in.
we- Right, but if we do in person, I guess my point is, if we do a virtual meeting, how do we restrict who's on and off?
Teams has what they call breakout rooms.
Yes.
So Nigel can set up breakout rooms to where you've got one main room, which would have the board, and then Will and his representative, and then you'd have two separate rooms. One of them with the witnesses that are being brought in, and then after they get done, then they would be needed to move to a separate secondary room, or log off the meeting altogether. I guess considering that they on that deal Kurt just had pulled up said, they can't go back to the room with the other witnesses that haven't been brought into the meeting yet or the hearing yet.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions on that? If not, I will go down the list and we will make a vote whether we're going to do this in person or we'll do it virtually. Okay. Derek Patterson, in person or virtual?
I vote in person.
Stephen Foster,
I vote in person.
in person. Mickey,
In person,
Clay,
Virtual.
Adam,
I say virtual too, and I just want to let you all know January is, most of us are high school wrestling coaches, so January is a real busy time to be traveling somewhere. So
and
virtual is
December
just,
too.
yeah, and December. So just keep that in mind if you coach high school too. I mean, I know I am competing almost every week and weekend in January, so that's just something to think of if you're coaching.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. William,
I would vote for virtual because I've got, I don't know how many days to officiate, so.
Nathan,
Virtual.
Parker,
Virtual.
JC,
Virtual.
Richard,
Personal,
in person, you said?
correct?
Thank you. Gavin,
Virtual.
thank you. Did Jesse ever get on?
No, he's not.
Okay. That said, in person had 1, 2, 3, 4 votes. Virtual had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Majority speaks for virtual. Okay. That said, B, if it is virtual, take a separate vote of the board whether it will be recorded or not. Questions?
Why would it need to
Comments?
be, why would it need to be recorded if it's not supposed to be a public meeting?
I totally agree with that, but virtual meetings have the ability to be recorded. So I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, I just didn't know if there was a purpose to that or not, if they had given you any reason as to why we would want that recorded.
Because we do other meetings that way. But that doesn't mean we can't contain that recording either and keep it somewhere where it doesn't go anywhere else either. I mean, it'd take a little doing on our part to make sure that it was sequestered.
I would think that the reason why they said that would have been for posterity reasons. In case anybody who was part of that said that something else happened at that meeting or hearing that didn't actually happen.
I think for the protection of the board and the process, it should be recorded. It should not be cascaded to everybody. But I think for this, the security of this process, I think it's in the board's best interest to record.
Okay.
And not publish it unless there's question. It should never be published, but in the event there's ever a question, we have the facts and the data.
Okay. Any other discussion?
If we were to record it for that reason, would it just be only in like a select few's hands so that if it does get out to the public, we would know where it would come from, or what exactly would we be doing with it?
So what would
I
happen
think
there is if Kirk starts the recording from his account, then his account is the only one that will have the recording. The way that I get recordings from these meetings, if I'm not the one recording it, is I admin into that person's account to get that recording. But in this particular circumstance, if that's what we choose to do, then I won't do it for that video, and it'll just stay in Kirk's sequestered space in case he needs it.
Okay.
And once again, I'm just saying, we had previous occurrences that happened. It was he said, she said. If you go back to the Bilby conversation and all that happened with that, we have no factual proof about what was said and what was not said. I think it's in this board's best interest to have a recording, even if the only person that has access to it is Kirk.
Thank you. Any other comments by the board? If not, we will take a vote on whether we're going to have this recorded or not recorded. I will go down the roster. Actually, let me go up the roster this time. We always start with Derek. But this time, let's start at the bottom. Jesse hadn't got on yet, has he? Okay, not seeing him. Gavin.
Yes.
You want it recorded. Okay, thank you. Richard.
Yes.
JC.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes.
William.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
Clay.
Yes.
Mickey.
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
Derek.
Yes.
And I apologize. We have a new board member on our board, and the last two things I didn't even ask him his vote because I don't have his name on my list. I apologize, Matt.
Matt's a non-voting member.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. That said is unanimous. It would be recorded. Okay. Questions let's go back to that document. 6, we need to get to, making sure. Let's go over when we're going to schedule this meeting. Decide the date of the appeals hearing. And to Adam's point, lot of people, we're getting right into the wrestling season, and it's going to be hard pressed, very, very hard pressed going for a lot of us. This is our season.
What was the soonest that we could have the hearing?
7 days. It means it's virtual. It'll be virtual and it'll be recorded. 7 days is the earliest that we could do that, minimum wise.
I motion for Sunday, July 23rd. Sorry, November 23rd.
There was a motion by Clay to have it November 23rd of
I'll
this.
second that.
William, that was you? William
Yes, sir.
seconded. Discussion?
If we're gonna do that day, can I propose 5 p.m.?
Clay, would you like to amend a friendly amendment to your motion of the time also?
Yeah, do we have a preferred time? Would you say 5?
I would say even a
I-
little afternoon later, like evening, more evening than 5. That's
I'm down with that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm down with anything after 5.
You like 6? Because this is probably going to take quite a while. It's probably going to be like a 3 or 4 hour deal, I would imagine.
Adam, you good with 6?
yeah, that should be fine if it's gonna take that long. I just 5's, church time, family time, dinner time, whatever you want to say. So I'm just throwing that out there too.
Okay.
I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I know most of you are. So I picked some time that didn't interfere with it.
Okay.
Well, we can do 6 o'clock,
I think
November
6 is
23rd.
I think 6 is fine.
Okay. Can I have a call to the question of, for the motion? 10, discussion?
Call to question.
Clay calls it. Anybody second?
I second.
I second
Thank you, Derek.
and I third.
That said, we have a motion on the floor that this appeal board special meeting will be November 23rd at 6 p.m. in the evening. I will go up the register again. Gavin,
That's fine.
thank you. Richard,
Yes.
JC,
Yes.
thank you. Parker,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
William.
Yeah.
Adam,
This is for 6 on that
Yes.
Sunday. Yep, I'm in.
Clay,
Yes.
Mickey,
Yeah,
Stephen,
Yes.
Derek.
Yes.
Okay. The meeting will be 6 p.m. November 23rd. Okay. Let's go back to that. Number 6. Witnesses for each party shall be known in advance of the special meeting. Set a date for the list to be submitted. If we're going to have that by the 23rd, let me go here. 23rd's here. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Motion that the list should be out by November the 16th.
I'll second.
So motion for list of witnesses out by November 16th. Okay. And that was seconded by who?
Parker.
Thank you, Parker. Okay. We have a motion. Any discussion on the floor?
Who put the motion in?
I did, Clay.
Clay did.
Thank you.
Now I'm calling
Yes.
the question.
Do we have a second to the call?
Richard seconds.
Thank you. I will go down the list. We are voting upon that the list of witnesses be provided to both parties, including this board, by the 16th of November. Derek, are you in favor?
Yes.
Foster,
Yes, they haven't been.
you're breaking up, man. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Mickey,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
thank you. Adam,
Yes.
William.
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
thank you. Parker,
Yes.
JC,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
thank you. We've got that nailed down. I think there is some last things we need to do here. Decide the date of the hearing, we did. And answer the questions above, we did that. Ensure the following documents are available to the board, the committee, the advocate, and the appellant. The initial complaint, the charge from District 2, and the outcome. That was all provided to you, Parker. I have, this is in PDF form right here, but you have all that, correct?
I do.
Okay. You also have the second one that I'm aware of right here, State Committee on Discipline Findings and Outcome.
Yep.
And, okay. And advocate's appeal to the state for the hearing. I have that. And review of documents. So how was the random draw done? What other documents occurred or other processes occurred? I will get those together. Okay. I would like that we voted by the 16th that those witnesses be handed in, but I see no reason why all of these items that's down here bulleted cannot be done by this Sunday. Is there anybody opposed to having that we get that done by this Sunday? That way we have time to review it. There might be questions that we have of Parker, might be questions we have of me, or whatever. Is anybody opposed by not having that?
This Sunday?
This
This
Sunday,
Sunday or the 16th, the 9th or the 16th?
the
This
9th.
Sunday, the 9th. Parker, I'm assuming all you have to do is just attach those to a PDF and forward them on to us.
Yeah, I'll probably get that done in the morning. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll get this, I think I can get all my stuff together by the 9th. Okay. Anybody opposed to it? If so, I won't take a vote. I'll just, is there anybody opposed? Let me hear it now. The 9th.
I do not oppose, but I have a crazy question. What happens when, if part of the board were witnesses to thing?
You're breaking up, man.
My question is, what happens if part of the board was a witness to what happened?
That's okay.
Just want to clarify.
Does anybody see a reason why people of the board cannot be called upon?
I mean, if they were witnesses to the infraction that occurred, they could have a potential conflict of interest, obviously, and they could always recuse themselves from a vote. But this is a question that you should ask the parliamentarian, and that's what we have them for.
Matt?
Well, I can tell you that the bylaws don't say anything about this, but I think in general principles of law, you would not want somebody that is a witness to be a voting member on the board as far as like guilt or innocence. So I think it would be appropriate for them to recuse themselves, but there's not anything in the bylaws that mandates that they do that.
So Matt, you're saying if they are called as a witness, then they should probably recuse themselves from the vote. And if they're not called as a witness, even though if they still were at the incident or at the, wherever it happened, then they wouldn't need to recuse themselves.
Well, let's see. I would say either way, they should probably recuse themselves. But there's no requirement, in the bylaws.
Right.
The topic is if someone on the board is called as a witness, should they recuse themselves from being a voting member on the in deciding the outcome?
To the contrary, if I am a witness and I am called to testify, I should most assuredly be allowed to vote because I was a witness.
I agree with Richard.
Personally, I think if they're a witness, they should probably recuse themselves. I feel like if it was like in a civil matter or something like that, that they would probably throw those jurors out that are making the decision, or if they were involved in some way.
Say on a jury, if you know the defendant, you're usually recused.
Parker, on this board with the people that have been part of this entire process, how many people are there on this board that you would be called in support of the committee's decision? This is an example. Let's just use one side of it. Richard already said that he probably would be a witness, I would think.
correct.
Richard recused himself from the District 2 disciplinary hearing.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand that. But you just called yourself a witness as well.
Richard recused himself from any and all actions of the District 2 disciplinary hearing. I was not involved in any way, shape, or form other than providing the documents.
Yeah,
I,
that's what
I
he means. Yes.
disagreed with you, Richard. I understand that.
Anybody else that's on the board that would be called? I mean, from your
Um,
position, Parker?
As of now, no. Not that, I mean, I'd have to go and look back at the complaints, but as of now, Richard would be the only one.
Okay. And he just said that he actually didn't participate in them. So that's what he was saying, actually.
I understand that.
So everybody on our board is good.
I think everybody kind of has a general idea, but none of us have actually been privy to is the disciplinary actions being taken just for the incident during the District 2 meeting, or is it multiple things put together?
That's the key to getting this stuff out by this weekend. That way we can see exactly what came out of District 2, what was reviewed at the secondary hearing that Parker chaired, and put that all in front of us, and then also the appeal and any other things that went along with the process.
The complaint
So I'm just-
officially
go ahead.
is the District 2 meeting, as well as the events at the casino.
Okay. Well, so here's kind of the devil's advocate here. If we're recusing ourselves, if we were there to witness the incident happen, there is 6 of us, maybe 7 on this board that were all present that day. So, I don't know if we can recuse half of this board, from voting on that. I mean, I get it. It may have a conflict of interest, I guess. I don't really know, don't really see that. But again, there's also a bunch of us that were there, so.
Yes, very true. Maybe we get the 16th things come in. No, I'm sorry, the 11/16 it was that those would be in, right? The witnesses would be identified. Did I write that down correctly?
Yeah.
16.
And so if we get both lists in and there's witnesses on there and they're going to be sent to everybody, then maybe we look at what that really says then and go from there.
So let
It
me
could be,
ask this question as being a dumb one, I guess. But say a bunch of us or a bunch of you guys, which I wouldn't be one, but recruise them, say that you're not going to be part of it because you're part of the witness or you were involved in it some way, shape, or form. So who's then going to take their place? Or are we just not going to have a full quorum? Like,
I think
what do you do
we
in
need
that
to
situation?
I think we need to vote on it before anything. But yeah, I agree, Mickey. I mean, it's kind of a weird situation. And like Matt said, it's not in our bylaws that says we have to do that.
I mean, I
well,
think this is a situation that we can't just put our heads in the sand and let somebody else handle the situation. I think, not to sound like a total bitch, but we kind of have to put our big belly pants on and handle the situation, just get done with it so that we can move on with the season and move forward with wrestling and the kids rather than dealing with this for another year.
yeah, good point. Matt, in the bylaws, this board can have proxies, can't they?
I believe so. but I don't know about if it says anything specifically for, well, I don't, I'd have to go back and look. I don't know that you can have proxies for board votes. I don't think you can let somebody else vote on your behalf.
On,
I think we just move forward and you vote your conscience because you're not gonna have.
so how about, if I wrote it down right, the 16th, we're going to have a witness list going in so people can prepare. Matt, I would like for you to go ahead and take that item to take a look at that proxy vote. Like Jesse said he wasn't going to be here tonight, but he could have had a proxy here as long as it was announced prior to the start of the meeting. Is what I remember seeing in the bylaws, but it's just an option to look at. And I'm not saying that's what we'll do. I'm just saying that we need to know all the scopes relative to the positions, because someone could recuse himself. Could be 7 people in the long run, or something like that. How do we ensure we have a fair?
Kurt,
Yes, sir.
Kurt, I just found it. It says in our bylaws, it says proxies. Voting by proxy will not be allowed at any meeting of the members.
That is of the members. So there's a section
That's
on the
state
board.
body. It's state body. My bad.
There is one on the board, though. There is proxy on the board, though.
I did find it, voting by proxy shall be permitted when that member has notified the state chairman of the name of the person who will be acting as his proxy prior to the start of each meeting.
Okay.
That has to do with board meetings.
There it is.
But I would want to really dig into this and compare it to the appeal process to make sure I'm giving you guys the right advice here.
I appreciate that. Could I make a recommendation that we see the list come the 16th? And Matt, you have a decision at that time, and we handle it through email, because we do not have to meet to conduct business. We have the ability to conduct that topic right there, this topic of recusal or proxy, all within an email chain question to the entire board. Is that fair to everybody?
That'll work.
Anybody opposed to that? And let me make sure I had that date down. That was 11/16. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will hold off on that until the 16th and see what comes of it. I will also take action to let Will know of the meeting scheduled for the 23rd at 6 p.m. I will also say to this board that I had to think really hard about this, but I remember going through a process like this, and in 2020, virtual meetings opened up to be allowed for the board to do that. So everything used to be in person. And in I'm going to say 95, 96, somewhere in there, Charlie got kicked out of the state tournament. They wanted to kick him out forever. And he went to an appeal all the way to the level that we're at right now. And we met for 6 weeks in Mike Juby's business, one compound, and in hearings for that long to get through everything that witnesses and everything that occurred for that hearing. Is the only time I've been involved in a hearing, but not like virtual where we can keep people out. They had to stay in the other room. They couldn't go back in the room where they came from. But it did not happen all in one day. In fact, Gavin, your dad was there, been participant in there too. So a lot of key people were there that in that hearing. So it's the only time I've ever seen this occur. So that said, Any other discussion or questions or anything else I missed on this appeal? I really do appreciate everybody's patience with that when getting through here. I scheduled this meeting for an hour and a half to be done at 10 o'clock. I'd like to make sure we have a hard stop at 10. People work and do all kinds of things. And I did have other things on the miscellaneous under chairmans relative to clock custodians and things like that. I also wanted to say, before I get into that, Clay, I really appreciate your leadership in getting the freestyle meeting together and starting down the road on what needs to happen there. Thank you for that very much. I was very pleased to hear that that had occurred. Everybody has a meeting agenda in front of them, but I want to make sure that I talk about something that occurred, and I want to start that out by saying that we all represent this board, and we represent USAW Kansas to not only our clubs, our constituents out there that we represent, but across the board. We have 18,300 some odd people that wrestled under our organization last year. And we have to have the utmost of conduct and behavior in those positions. I do not want, in my entire career of participating in the leadership roles, whether it be running this organization or as treasurer, I've only ever in my entire time said to someone else, this is not who we are. And I don't want to make that a habit. I want to make sure that across the board, all of us are good to one another, just like we would expect out of this hearing that's coming up. Misconduct is not allowed. Otherwise, there's consequences for it. And with that, I was very disappointed with what occurred and ended up having to call another state and get through all the ifs, ands, and buts, and again, say that that's not who we are. And I want to make sure that those actions, those behaviors are squelched. We will not be represented that way. Any comments?
I mean,
Question.
are we stopping and starting there? Like, and that's it? There's nothing else to it?
I didn't hear you. Hold on. Right now, Parker's talking. Yes, sir, Parker. I'm sorry.
Like, is that all the discussion we're going to have about this? Because
no, I just opened that up.
Like,
go ahead. Do you have comments
But
too?
That
Kurt,
behavior is absolutely
should this be,
abhorrent.
Kurt, should this not be an executive meeting, like closed or?
We could go to executive session and we could do it we have 5 minutes left. We can take a vote to go into executive session and talk about this. And do we have a motion for that? And do we have a second?
No, I mean, you guys probably should know, because we've done this executive session thing before. You know that whatever time is called, you have to stay in it the entire time. No action can be taken in between it, and you can't come out early. So we'll be way past 10 o'clock before we even get into it. So just keep that in mind.
Make a motion for executive session.
I'm going to motion for this to be put onto the next meeting's agenda.
Okay. Well,
I second that with Parker.
Was that Gavin or who was that?
That was Adam. Next session.
Okay. Okay. So Adam, Parker, you had a motion, and that motion is this topic of conduct be moved to our next meeting that we call. That is not the special meeting for a hearing though, okay?
And who seconded
Understood.
that?
Adam.
Adam, and
Thank you.
it was Parker who said it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. That said, any more discussion on that? If not, let's call the question.
Call the question.
Thank you,
Call it.
William. Who was that
Seconded.
second one? Okay, thank you, Mickey. Question is to the topic of conduct to move to the next meeting that we have. I will go down the list. Derek,
Yes.
Stephen, Mickey,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
thank you. William,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
JC,
I'd rather just deal with it now, so no, but I guess my vote doesn't matter here. It's already over.
Oh, is that, are we voting to move it to the next meeting or voting to discuss it in general?
the vote is
Move
to
it to
move
the
it
next
to the next
meeting.
meeting.
Okay, I'm changing my vote. I didn't realize that. Sorry. I would like to discuss it now.
Okay, hold on.
So Clay and JC, no.
Yes, that's
That's
what I
correct.
heard.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm absolutely okay with discussing it now, but I'd also agree with William. If we're doing a hard stop at 10 o'clock, we don't have time.
And we want to be thorough about it too. Yes.
I mean, I could change my vote to discuss it now. I've got plenty of time myself, but
I
it's
was
whatever
gonna say,
everybody else wants to do.
Do we
Well,
have to have a
my
hard stop
motion-
at 10?
There's a motion on the floor.
Well,
I
my
do
vote
not
was
have-
only because I thought we were
Okay.
having a hard stop.
Do we have a
personally-
hard stop or not?
We have this meeting scheduled from 8:30 to 10.
I think we have a hard stop if we want it to be a
Yeah.
hard stop.
I'm fine with.
I make a
doing it right
motion
now.
to extend the meeting.
Well, you can't do that till the last
We already
motion's
have a
taken
motion.
care of.
We already have a motion
So-
on the floor.
Well,
Would we,
let's go for it.
the motion was the
Does
topic
Parker
of
want
conduct.
to amend his motion to move it to the next meeting?
And we voted yes.
No, it's in the
'Cause
middle of the vote. I'm
But my
asking, does
understanding is that
Parker
we're
want
having a
to
hard.
Hang
stop.
on, guys.
Do we-
Hang
One
on,
person
hang
at a
on,
time.
hang on. Now, Matt's our parliamentarian. He can tell you exactly the procedures that should be followed right now, because this is where we've gotten into trouble in the past. There's too many things happening all at once and everybody's
Yeah.
talking, so.
Thank you. Matt,
But yeah, you need to finish the vote on the question that's on the floor right now.
yep, thank you.
Do we have to have a hard stop at 10 though? That was the
Is
only
that a
reason I
question for
made
the
the
public?
motion.
I would like to take care of this now, but like, if it's gonna last forever, I mean, again, we all work. I'm not trying to do this
Okay.
until midnight, 1 AM.
It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be a
change
while.
my vote. to
This is
no.
gonna be a while, I promise you.
So the topic that's out on the floor for vote, I will go down the list again. So Mickey, we are recording this vote. If people change, I want to make
Yep.
sure we have their vote correctly. The
Yep.
topic is to conduct,
I still don't have an answer for doing a hard stop
we
at 10.
have a schedule to,
We got to get through the vote first, Parker.
yeah, let's get to the vote, but the only thing that I can answer you is that I don't know how long it'll take either. So the topic is to move the conduct to the next meeting.
You go home and you do the project, you look back.
So I
you go
have-
and drop that project, you're like, hey,
Somebody's Steve,
that's
can
where
you
you got that
mute
first.
yourself?
Steve, would you put your on mute, please?
Thank you. So I have
That
JC
said-
as no.
Well, let me go down the list.
Okay.
Derek,
I'm gonna change mine to no.
Stephen,
What are we voting on now? You guys confuse me. Oh, there you
it's the topic of moving the conduct of to the next meeting. Either yes or no.
I was just told I don't vote.
Like,
What was your vote? Yes or no?
I was informed that.
yeah, I want,
Mickey,
No.
Clay,
No.
Adam,
Yes.
William,
No. I'm changing my vote to no.
Nathan,
Changing mine to no.
Parker,
Yes.
JC,
No.
Richard,
Oops, no.
Gavin.
No.
We will, the topic of moving the conduct to the next meeting did not pass. We will discuss it. Parker, you had a question relative to hard stop. If everybody is okay with going beyond, well, we're already past 10:02. Is everybody okay? Is there anybody opposed not going forward with this meeting until we get this discussed? That said, I didn't hear anybody. I open it to the
They say
floor.
10:30 latest, max.
Was that a motion?
Can I put I was gonna say, can I put a motion in to, we put a hard stop at 10:30? And
Let's
that
get
we
a
go
time
into
limit.
executive meeting where it's
And-
just the board members.
And you want to go into executive session, okay? Is that what I hear you say?
Correct. Yes, and we will be out by 10:30.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Kurt, if I may, for clarification purposes on Mickey's motion, if we vote to go into executive session until 10:30, we must remain in executive session until 10:30, correct? We cannot exit early.
Matt,
No, you cannot.
okay, thank you.
Are you needing a second still, Kurt?
Yes, I have not heard one.
Okay, second.
Seconded by Clay.
Clay.
That said, we have a motion on the floor to go in discussion on the conduct, go into executive session, and be there till 10:30. Derek.
Just one point of clarification. We're not planning on doing any business after this meeting is over, correct?
Hope not.
We said that 10:30 is a hard stop also. That's what
Right.
I heard.
The only reason I'm asking is 'cause I'm gonna have to kick everybody that's not on the board out of this room here. And
Yes.
so just so that they know that there's no point in waiting around to come back.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. Going forward, 10:30 executive session to the topic of conduct.
Hold on just a
Everybody,
second. Hang on. This portion's not recorded, so we're gonna have to pause while I get everybody else out of the meeting.
Yeah, but we haven't
So-
taken a vote to go into executive session yet either.
Right.
So let me go ahead with the vote, if I can. Derek, you want to go into executive session till 10:30?
Yes.
Stephen,
I abstain.
Mickey,
Yes.
Clay,
Yes.
Adam.
I'm sorry, repeat it. What are
Um,
we voting on? Sorry.
We will be going into executive session till 10:30 and the
Yes.
topic is of the conduct,
Yes.
misconduct, I mean. Yes. William,
Yes.
thank you. Nathan,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
JC,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Okay. Nigel, go ahead and take us into executive session, please.
All right, just a moment.
While you're doing that, I need to